What's going on, guys? JR Sports Media here, back at it again for another episode of the SmackTalk podcast. I'm here with Kevin Mesnick, Jonathan Weathers, as well as Mason Geertson, current defenseman of the Hartford Wolfpack, 4th round, 93rd overall pick by the Colorado Avalanche in the 2013 NHL NHL Draft. Mason, what's going on, my man?
Nothing too much, just hanging out, man. I mean, everybody's doing the exact same thing right now, just kind of sitting and waiting. So, I mean, getting pretty good at it.
So being a hockey player, this is my first question. Being a hockey player, we're in quarantine. NFL and the NBA players, a lot of them don't have a rim around them. NFL players don't have a lot of practice facilities to practice at. What are you doing right now to stay up in shape? Obviously, the Wolfpack season is canceled right now, suspended until next season. What are you doing to prepare for the upcoming season?
Right now, I just got some weights in my garage, and then I got a little shooting thing set up right now, and then I just rollerblade and kind of try and keep the feel of the ice that way, I guess. But I mean, there's not too much I can do. Like, it warmed up now, so there's no snow anymore, so no more outdoor rinks,
Yeah, so there's not a lot of rinks near you, I'm guessing, right? That are open right now.
No, there's none right now, none. And yeah, so it's been tough. It's been like the first time I've been off the ice this long since I was probably like 12 years old.
Yeah, it must be good. It must be very good.
I'll say you're probably itching, man.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I just look at my gear every day. I'm just like, come on.
I know.
So being from Canada, can you just explain what it was like to grow up there? Obviously, being from Drayton Valley, Canada, obviously the epicenter of hockey. I mean, United States is starting to catch up, but obviously nothing will be Canada. What was it like to live there, grow up there, and breathe and live hockey?
I mean, yeah, it was my life, Like, I grew up in a small town, and, I mean, we didn't have, like, football or baseball. We had was hockey in the winter, and then that was about it. So that was kind of what we did. And then once I got a little bit older, I started playing hockey all, like, full year-round, summer hockey and everything like that. And then being that close to Edmonton, we were, like, my whole family was, like, diehard Oilers fans. So that's kind of what I grew up around, and that's how it went. And then things came and kept coming, and then I went to junior, and then from junior I went for pro, so it's kind of in a snowball.
What age did you first put skates on?
I was just under 3 years old. It was my first time.
I played hockey for 12 years. I was a goalie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You were a defenseman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you'd be my guy. But yeah, you gotta start early when you play hockey, man. But I mean, as a hockey player, I mean, I want to ask, like, you're from Canada. Is there a difference in playing style? I always notice a difference in playing style from people from Canada. They're a little more creative with it, I guess. Hockey players, I feel like Americans are a little more, like, I don't know, not technical, but you know what I'm saying. Do you know?
Yeah. No, I think it varies also from, like, different parts of the country too. Like, I know, like, in Ontario, I feel it's like a lot more skill, and like they got a lot more offense kind of thing there. And then in the West is more like defensive and kind of like a little bit tougher play, I think. So it's kind of varies between, like, different sides of the country, I guess, too.
Right.
Okay. Growing up, I know you said you were an Oilers fan. So was there someone that you looked up to or kind of trended your skill after?
Well, I know my family was an Oilers fan, but I was actually a Canucks fan growing up. And my two favorite players were Tuber Tuesday and Chris Pronger growing up.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty.
Was it Pronger on the Ducks though, or was it when he was on the Canucks?
When he was with the Ducks.
Yeah, the Ducks in 2007 when they won the Cup. That was a good team.
That was
the Niedermeyer twins.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
He was at Edmonton for a bit too, so that was pretty cool. But he wasn't here too long.
Right on.
So Mason, just talking about your early career, in 2012 you played in the Canada Pacific World Under-17 Hockey Challenge in Windsor, Ontario. What was the experience like for you?
That was really cool. It was like it was like Olympics thing, but just like for Canada. It was a really cool experience. I mean, pretty much everybody, like all the players from Canada were there, like all the top players that you can think of and my age group were there. So it was like a melting pot for, like, stars coming out of there, Like Curtis Lazar, my buddy Curtis Lazar, he was there. He tore it up, like broke all the records, and so it was pretty cool.
It's always interesting to compete in those, high level, under 18, under 17, any sport like that, because you just know. I mean, I personally am not athletic, so I would never find myself in that realm. But you're probably sitting there like, holy shit, like I'm playing in the Canada World, under 17 team. Like I'm pretty good at hockey.
Yeah, I mean, at the point, you're always looking for what's next, too. So you don't really, like, looking back now, I'm very fortunate that I was there and like that. But in the moment, I was kind of just like, okay, I played this team now. I want to try to play for the next team. I need to get trial for that team. So it's kind of like looking back, it looks cool, but in the moment, I wasn't really thinking about how lucky I was, I guess.
Yeah. So what was it? What was it like? I mean, playing in the Western Hockey League. I mean, I know what Canada's like. Jake Weathers. I don't know if you know what junior hockey is like in Canada, but it is a major sport there. People come out and fill the stadiums for guys that are like between the ages of 16 and 20, the best hockey players in the world. So, what was that like? I mean, playing hockey kind of like as a 15-year-old, and then all of a sudden you're entering into this league where there's people like filling up the crowds and you're playing in front of this huge stadium of people. I mean, what was that like? And adjusting to that as a player too.
Yeah, I know it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, I know I got called up from midget when I was 15 years old, and they went on a road trip from Edmonton to Seattle, Washington.
Oh, wow.
So I was 15 years old. I just got called up like the day before because someone got hurt. So I went on this road trip. I was 15-year-olds hanging out with like 20-year-olds, and I was just like absolutely shell shocked. I had no idea what was going on. I was just kind of like, the bus ride was absolutely horrible. It was like 18 hours. I was like, what is going on right now? But then, yeah, it's been crazy. Like, I mean, like when I was in minor hockey, it was just like 50 your family, And then my next year when I was in Edmonton, we were in Rexall. So we were in Rexall, and it was like almost packed, So it was just a huge, like, you're just like, wow, this is nuts. This is it,
It is nuts. I remember playing in front of my first like kind of like huge crowd, probably at 16. And as a goalie, it's just like crazy pressure.
Yeah,
it's totally different getting and playing at a local rink where there's like a couple parents standing around. So, yeah, I can kind of relate to that, but definitely not at the level playing at juniors, in Canada juniors. I mean, that's really, really impressive, man.
So,
yeah.
I was just about to say there's levels to this.
So, Jason, obviously we've seen the NFL Draft, obviously being virtual. You see a lot of documentaries, a lot of work being done in the media of what it's like for a player to get the call, start crying with their family, and being awoken to the fact that they're about to be a millionaire athlete. What was it like back in 2013? Where were you when the Colorado Avalanche called you, and how did that call go?
I was actually at the draft. It was either go to the draft or go to my grad or prom. What do you? Yeah. So I was like, I'd rather just go. I was gone most of the school year, so I didn't really have too many friends. So I was just like, yeah, I'll go there. And then it was in New York that year, New Jersey, but we stayed in New York. So it was just like crazy. And then we went to the rink, and then it was with my family. So it was really cool to be part of that, and kind of see the whole behind the scenes and everything that goes into it. And I think it was really cool.
Did you have any pre-thought? Obviously, a lot of athletes don't want to admit they have a team they want to go to. Obviously, the NHL is a lot different than the NFL. There's a lot of mock drafts, but in the NHL, there's so many players being drafted that it's almost impossible to guess the entire draft. Did you have any team in mind that you wanted to go to? If you can, reveal that.
I don't know about want to go to, but the one team that I thought that I was like, oh well, that's probably the most chance I've had to go there is probably Pittsburgh, but obviously it didn't work out. But it was kind of you never really know. You're just sitting there, and it's like the lottery, I guess. But it was pretty cool.
It must be a lot different for the NHL compared to the NFL. Obviously, there's so many players. Did you have just feeding onto this topic? Did you have any buddies that were with you that were also entering into the draft, and you guys were had a little competition who would get picked first or anything like that?
Well, I'm good buddies with Curtis Lazar and Tristan Dry. I don't feel like Tristan Dry had a great season this year, so I kind of knew them. And then my one buddy in Vancouver, Jackson Houck, we actually went back-to-back picks. I went before, and then he went right after me. So that was pretty cool. But no, I mean it's kind of like Curtis went in the first round, and Jari he was way up there too. So I kind of knew that I would be a losing bet, I think.
So kind of going off what Jake just said, was there a big moment that you had to kind of post-draft that kind of like, I'm here, like a kind of awakening moment to you to kind of be like, wow, I'm a professional?
Yeah, I think going down, just like going to the table and kind of meeting everybody, like meeting Joe Sakic and all those guys, it was just like, holy. It was like, in the moment, it was hard to take in. It kind of like took to that tonight to be like, holy, this is like all the guys I met, and like, this is now my life, this is what I'm working for now. It's my new goal.
Gotcha.
What was the difference? I mean, you know, juniors is super competitive. You're still playing some of the best competition in the world in your age group. I mean, but is there a difference once you get to that NHL level, that pro level? I mean, you want to talk about that the step up, and there's now you're the best of the best of the best. So.
Yeah, well, with that, it's just like everything just like step faster. You know, everybody says that step faster, and there's more structure and there's more. Is like more one-on-one battles, and the guys in junior, I was a big guy in junior, obviously, so it was a little bit different. I could kind of use my weight more, but in the NHL and pro level, it's kind of like the guys are the same size as me, so it was a learning experience for me, definitely, to try and change my game a little bit. So I couldn't just manhandle guys. I had to kind of work harder and be smarter, I guess.
Right on.
So speaking on your career, since 2010, you played for 9 different teams. So my personal question is, no, it's not a bad thing. I just want to know, how do you deal with playing for so many different teams? You know, you see. I don't know if you're a football fan, but you see a guy like Frank Gore. He's in his 16th season now, and I don't know how many teams he's played for. This guy is a legend. But what is it like as a professional athlete to keep having to move from organization to organization?
I mean, it's just the business, you know. And usually wherever you go, you kind of know 1 or 2 guys. Like you kind of know guys around the league and get to know a decent amount of guys. So wherever you go, you usually have like some little bit of a group already. And then it's kind of figuring out what's going to happen, where you fit into that like organization, where you fit into the roster kind of thing. And then kind of, if you want to work your way up, or if you know, like solidifying your position, kind of go from there.
Well, just some backstory. We're actually all graduates of the University of Hartford. So I actually was a beat reporter this year because I'm a senior. I just graduated college this year. I did beat reporter for, I'll give this quick shout out, Professor Hefter did a class at the Hartford Wolfpack, and I actually got to see you guys play a couple times. But the thing is, Mason, every single time I went, you guys lost. I think I just need to stay home.
Well, we didn't lose that many times at home, so that must have been your fault, eh?
You know what the crazy is? You guys had that, I think it was a 12-game or 16-game winning streak at home. It was the franchise record, right? You guys lost that against Scranton. I was there.
Yeah, it's definitely you, Jake.
I think it actually might.
It all makes sense now, eh? It all makes sense.
This is back-to-back years where I've went to 2 or more games, and they've lost every single time.
Jeez. Yeah, stop coming, and at least tell me I'm coming, so I can kind of prepare for it, at least. You know?
We know that
I'll never come again. I'll watch you guys from my room.
You just got banned.
Yeah. Your face can be all around the rink. Don't let this guy in.
So question for you. So with being a professional hockey player, is there ever anyone like, do you have any rivals that you kind of see that you kind of get into fights with? I know you can kind of do that. It's only sport where you can kind of handle your business mid-game. You can't really do that in this sport, unless besides MMA or something like that. So is there anyone that you have, like, you know, kind of a rivalry with?
I don't know if they're rivalry, but there's like.
You can answer that question.
There's always like teams that like are more physical, or we kind of have like rough games with each other, you know. And you go into the game, you're like, yeah, I know probably something's gonna happen, or you know, kind of be on edge and kind of ready for if something does happen. Then you probably know who's gonna be doing the things and what you gotta do about it, you know. So it varies from game to game and team to team what kind of situations go down.
Would you say you were the enforcer on the majority of your teams?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Mason, I got a question for you. Did you know that there is a website called hockeyfights.com that records every fight that you've ever been in?
Yeah. No,
yeah. Well, what's your favorite one? I mean, if you know what it is and you watched it, what's your favorite fight? I'm looking right at it.
My favorite pro fight probably was just from this year. I kind of knocked a guy out this year, so that's probably like one of my. Yeah. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good fight, but.
Yeah, you got the guy's number. I'm trying to find the link to it.
Arsenic. His last name was Arsenic.
Oh, all right.
Name dropped him.
Right. Well, I don't know. He was He's a good guy. We fought twice this year, so he's a tough guy.
Yo, how was it?
That's cool. That's the cool thing about hockey right there, is that you guys can kind of do that and kind of just chop it up right there and say, I'll leave it there. He's a good guy. He's a good athlete. And it is what it is.
So Mason, if you get knocked out in the rink, are you going to come after the guy next time? Be like, next time I'm coming for you.
I mean, yeah, unless the guy's too scared, I'm too scared of him, then I might just say okay. But no, I
You ever,
definitely. I feel like it's kind of like I don't know, like no one wants to knock anybody out or no one wants to like hurt anybody. Obviously, too bad in the fights, just like. But I mean, it happens sometimes, and that's just a part of obviously the sport we play. But obviously, if something happened to me, I definitely wouldn't be too happy about it, I guess.
I don't know about you, but my favorite fighter of all time is John LaRock. And back when he was on the Penguins, how long do you think you could last with John LaRock?
I don't know. I don't know. The old school guys are different league in themselves about fighting. They would. Oh yeah, I don't know.
They jump right out of the penalty box. They jump right out of the penalty box and go right back at it.
Yeah, and they'd have like 30 fights a year. Like it wasn't a big deal. Like, oh, I can't even imagine how sore their hands would have been. I can't even imagine.
Right.
But so like you being a pro, I mean, even going to training camps, you went to the New York Rangers training camp, obviously. Have you met any guys that you kind of looked up to, growing up that you're on ice with?
I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head right now, but I mean, like, Landeskog was pretty cool to meet, like he was definitely like a big name, but I mean, me and Joe Sakic was, but I don't know, like, I never said like played with them, but like it was definitely like a pretty cool moment to like meet them and then talk to them for my name,
So being with the Hartford Wolfpack, how has it been to play at the XL Center, playing Hartford, and what is your future or what is your outlook on your future upcoming? Obviously, as we have a lot of uncertainty right now, the season's suspended. You guys were in the 3rd seed. You guys were all the way on top of the league for a little bit, then a little bit of a skid. But obviously, Hartford Wolfpack fans will never know what the postseason was going to be like because we obviously haven't seen it. So what are you doing right now, or what do you think right now is going to happen next year or the year after that? Have you thought about that yet, or are you still in tune with the Hartford Wolfpack and the Rangers affiliate?
I think that we'll be really good next year. I think that the coaching is great there. It's definitely the best coaching I've had in pro hockey so far. So it's been like I can only say good things about the coaching staff there, and the guys. They're a good group of guys. I know that some guys are going to be already coming back, so I think it'll be a good setup.
I mean, you are known to be one of the most physical defenders on the Hartford Wolfpack, as evident of the various fights that are found on that website that Kevin brought up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed playing the XL Center. The crowd was good to me, so I definitely appreciated that.
Well, thank you once again for coming on, Mason. I really appreciate it. This has been another episode of the SmackTalk podcast. I am JR Sports Media. Mason Geertson, where can we find you on social media for those that are wondering?
My social media is Geertson44 on Instagram and Twitter. I think that's about it for me.
So shoot them a follow, boys. Obviously, we're in quarantine right now. We're getting ready to tune in next season, and hopefully we wish you nothing but the best on the ice next season for the Hartford Wolfpack. Thank you once again for coming on. I appreciate it, my man.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.